Hello everyone and welcome to the first of my 3 200 subscriber special videos. And today let's just rank the top 10 worst soundtracks in Rolling Sky, plus 2 honorable mentions that we will talk about first. And once again, I'll just say thank you guys for 200 subscribers. I remember filming the 35 subscriber special, and it was also about like the top 10 worst levels in Rolling Sky. Which I still haven't updated that list because it's barely changed, other than one level being added and one not being on the list anymore. So, yeah, but just kind of nice flashback. I will say it's a lot harder to rank the worst soundtracks than the better soundtracks, so there are less picks than like top 20. But with that being said, let's just get right into this ranking. Normally for this list I would not be playing the levels in question, but we do have 2 co-creation levels on this list where their soundtracks aren't able to be listened to without going into the level. So in 12th place, an honorable mention, Industrial Age. This level isn't generally liked by the community anyway, and my main beef with it from the start was not the route, which I've now come to realize is not that good. What I hated from the start was the soundtrack. I think this soundtrack is by far Samsung's worst. I was not looking forward to this level even before release, even though a lot were. A lot of people ended up liking Ginny more, and that's a 2-star. This is a 5-star. Most people don't generally like 2 stars. Some do. I like a lot of 2 stars. But, like, this level just kind of sucked in the community does, but I think the music is just not for me. The kind of music I like in this game is music I could sing along to, or like hum along to, if you know what I mean, or it's just like very catchy. This level's none of those. It's very not sing along to-y, if that makes sense. And it's also just very repetitive. It's not a soundtrack I even remember generally. I understand why they added it to this level. In terms of how it makes sense to this level, it does connect. I do think that they chose a good soundtrack that fits the level. But quite frankly, I think the soundtrack was just a miss anyway. This entire level theme was generally not liked by the community anyway, because it just butchered both levels. But, well, the community does. I like Furnace, but a lot of people don't. Yeah. The reason it's an honorable mention is because, like I said, it at least connects to the theme a little bit, so I don't think it's justified to put this in the top 10. In 11th place, we have a level you probably didn't see coming. This is the highest level I have placed on the tier list, not having its soundtrack anything to do with it. And it's Monster City, because this level is the only one that has a bit of different reasoning than every other one. This level was the title screen music for around 3 years. Almost 3 years. Like 2.5. You could see how that could get annoying, especially when I did come back to replay levels all of the time, especially to rebeat the 2020 ones, because I wasn't really that good at them at the point, because I didn't have iOS, so I had to get an APK, and there's all that. But it's just not, I mean, I'm just so done with hearing it, honestly, that's the reason it's on this list. The only reason it's not in the top 10 and it's an honorable mention is because I feel like it's a little unfair to put a soundtrack like this in the top 10, considering it was the title screen for years, but they had no control over that. This wasn't supposed to happen, but it just ended up like this because we were hearing it for so long. I'm sure it annoys a lot of people by now, and that's why it's in 11th place on this list. In 10th place, starting off the actual list, we have a level that I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably didn't expect. Sky. A C tier level on my tier list. Pretty low C tier. I'm pretty sure it's D tier now, actually. Sorry with the rework. But anyway, the soundtrack is, in my opinion, the worst of every single 2016 level in the game. I don't know. It's very hard to explain what makes me not like a soundtrack. And this one, in my opinion, is just really boring. Probably the most boring one on the list. If not, number 9 or number 8 are close to having that title. It's just like, I don't know. It does nothing. It's also really short. Say it with me. It's way too short. But at least it's not too quiet like the Fireworks soundtrack. Don't know why that was in my top 100. And yeah, that's Sky for you. I really don't have much to say about this one because it's just really boring. In 9th place, sorry, we have our only F777 soundtrack on this list, Kung Fu, the original song being Panda Smash by F777. And there's a reason why I have this one so low. First of all, Kung Fu is an E tier level, very down low, almost F tier. So the soundtrack is definitely not a helping factor in that level's ranking. However, I think this song has really annoying, like, effects. Take that away, I know the level has annoying effects as well with the E Labyrinth mover things, where if you remove the move, it sounds like a police chase scene. I saw that from RLSD or something like that, Deaths. You can go check them out, they're pretty popular. But I've never been a fan of how it's just not very sing-alongable. It's also just, once again, very repetitive, I think, with that typical kind of like Kung Fu stereotypical music anyway. And I've never been a fan of that music anyway. I never even liked the movies Kung Fu Panda. I'm sorry, you guys. Not my favorite movie. Would much prefer Shrek. But yeah, just repetitive, pretty boring soundtrack because of it. And also just has some annoying effects in it that I can't really describe where they are because it's hard for me to describe a soundtrack. If I'm describing a level, I can say the percentage, but the soundtrack, I don't know. In 8th place, we have the only other level that I have to play, and that is Lighthouse Alley. In 8th place. I am not really a huge fan of this level in general, but you take in its soundtrack, it doesn't affect its ranking. It is in the new D tier. Not the D tier is new, but it's just in a newly ranked system. This level in general. And I think its soundtrack just suffers from, once again, being way too short. And, I mean, maybe it's a little too quiet, like Fireworks as well, which, don't know why that was in my top 10 or 15 soundtracks. But, this level's song is just, to me. It also has, annoying sound effects in the song. Once I believe this theme changes right here, whatever the next theme changes, I think this soundtrack gets even worse. Okay, I don't know when the theme changes here. Yeah, right here. There's just annoying sound effects in the background. I think they tried to make it sound like an ocean. It really doesn't work. Sorry if it's a little loud in the background. There's cicadas near me. It's still summer. We love it. I'm inside too. I don't. Whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this level, honestly. One of the most boring soundtracks as well. You can kind of see a theme. I just don't like the boring ones, in my opinion. But once again, this is like incredibly opinionated, more opinionated than my level rankings themselves, because a lot of people like different soundtracks. I saw some people complaining about Cthulhu's soundtrack when I think it's like okay, but I know some people hate it, so it's even more controversial than level rankings themselves. Up next, in 7th place, is Naval Battle. And that's because this level had the opportunity to have a soundtrack that probably would have carried this level out of the S tier, and it didn't get it. Now, a lot of people know that Pirate Ship was supposed to have the 7 Seas by S777, but I believe that if this level could have gotten the same treatment. Honestly, it's not confirmed that, but I think that this level easily could have had a much better soundtrack than it does to carry it out of the F tier. Right now, it is my 3rd least favorite level in the game, and that's because the soundtrack is kinda buns, I'm not gonna lie. I wrote a song with this level's melody in 5th grade, but I was just so stupid back then, I'm not even gonna talk about that one. The level had come out recently, so that's why I did that, but some nostalgia there. That's kind of why it's up higher. Honestly, this level and Lighthouse Alley are kind of interchangeable for me, but that's the only 2 levels on this list that I think are interchangeable in any single way, because I think the rest are I'm very confident in my decision. These 2 levels flipped around a lot, though, in my making of this list. And yeah, that's why I think Naval Battle is here in 7th place. Probably missing out in top 6. In sixth place is a level that I know this is going to be controversial for. Lovey, sixth place. Okay, I know a lot of people like this level soundtrack, and some people like this level in general. They're kind of crazy, I don't know why, but this level soundtrack is the epitome of the most boring anniversary soundtrack I think I've ever heard. Now you might be thinking, casual, there's a beat drop right there. How's that boring? This level's soundtrack has nothing interesting inside it, in my opinion. Even the beat drops are incredibly boring. When the soundtrack released, I was like, oh, that was a letdown. And it doesn't have any, like, cameo things in it. Now, you might be thinking, neither does Happy Birthday or Nirvana. And Happy Birthday has a Happy Birthday song. I think that was good enough. And Nirvana doesn't have anything at all. So you might be thinking, why do I like Nirvana, not this level? Because Nirvana has music that works incredibly well with the level, and even by itself, I was very amazed with it. This level, not so much. I don't like the string compositions, the beat drops, anything, and it just doesn't help that I don't like the level anyway. Not that that affected my ranking here, but, I mean, it affects this level's ranking on the tier list, because it's in D tier. Low in it, too. So, yeah. That's my thoughts on Love E, and I try to give my best explanation as to why it's on this list, because I know that will be somewhat controversial in my comment section, but yeah. In fifth place is Cloud, the tutorial level since 2018. Now, I have a feeling a lot of people, you guys can already guess why this is starting off the top 5. This song is the default song when I go into any level. Like, look, I'm going to go into SeaWorld. It's the same soundtrack. And that gets annoying because you consistently have to hear it. And once again, it's, say it with me, way too short. And even that, like, it's just really annoying and repetitive. And I'm kind of using the same logic as Monster City here, except this has been a thing since before Monster City was a level, let alone the title screen music, for 2 years. So I've had to listen to this song for almost 7 years, no, more than 7 years now, almost 8 years. And it's kind of annoying. And I think that even though it's the same logic as an honorable mention level, this is definitely a very deserved placement for an annoying and very repetitive soundtrack. In fourth place, oh, thank God I don't have to play this level. I didn't know if FanMades had this feature. The basketball from Dancing Line. Now, in Dancing Line, I think this level is a good soundtrack compared to others, because I think Dancing Line has a lot more mediocre soundtracks. But in Rolling Sky, this level does not stand a chance. Not only is this my second least favorite level in the game because of routing issues, its soundtrack doesn't help it at all. At all. Honestly, not even close to it all. It, in my opinion, doesn't even relate to the Dancing Line version, which is fine, but it just, like, at least with the chaos, I could see some resemblance, and the soundtrack actually works with the level. The soundtrack just doesn't work with this level, honestly. The speed pads and all of that just don't work well with the music. Not that that affects my rankings, but I'm just saying that because that affects my overall level ranking. I don't know. I've always found that last part kind of annoying as well. This part's just boring till the end. It's the same thing. Very repetitive. I will continue to hate this level until the day that I die, as well as first place on this list. Once again, I hope it gets a weekly match so I can destroy it. Double emoji. In third place, Bronze Medal, third worst soundtrack in the game, is a level I think we could say is a little bit justified to be here. With all of the Christmas levels we have in the game, there being 8, I'm pretty sure, we do not need a 5th Jingle Bell remix. Well, to be fair, this was the 3rd at the time, but even then, could you be less unoriginal? Oh, sorry, this was the 2nd one at the time, but still, I mean, it's aged horribly considering this level's bonus, Christmas Gospel. It's still a pretty bad soundtrack, almost made this list as well. Still better. Reindeer's Gift has an amazing soundtrack, definitely S tier worthy. And Aurora Tour is just kind of okay. And Christmas is also just okay. This soundtrack pales in comparison to them. It's just so generic. This literally could be Jingle Bells itself, which is a song, once again, very repetitive. It's awful. And another F tier level that's just not helped by its soundtrack. I think you can see a correlation that a lot of F tier levels don't have a good soundtrack to boost them out. Because soundtracks do matter in my overall level ranking. And this video is kind of a comparison to that as well. Like, of course, I'm ranking the top 12 Rolling Tide worst soundtracks. But I'm also comparing them to how they rank on the tier list and how it correlates. And I think we could see a pattern here. Okay, I'm an idiot and forgot that this level is co-creation. In second place, we have Lively Spirits. And I have decided to rightfully put this level in the F tier soundtracks. I think we could all guess why. Now, I know if you guys watch my videos frequently, you know that I consistently stand up for this level, saying that the soundtrack was made by Pedo, that's outside of the game, it doesn't affect the gameplay. Well, this video is not about the gameplay, this video is about the soundtrack. And the Pedo made the soundtrack. Even though that is outside of the game, it very much affects the soundtrack, I think. Also, I've just come to realize that it's really repetitive and boring. I much prefer the level design. I wouldn't say the level itself is F tier. In fact, I'd say this level is C tier now due to the tier list rework. I have moved it down from A tier. It's just because of the soundtrack, honestly. And not even that the fact that it's made by the Pedo is doing that the entire thing. It's honestly just because it's very repetitive and boring as well. Now's a good time for me to just say, though, that in this ranking, that fact, outside of the game, it does matter here. That's the only other thing I'm really considering here. If anything outside of the game is wrong, and there's something outside of the game that's very wrong with the soundtrack. I do agree that the soundtrack should be removed. I initially said that it was fine. It was new, recency bias, all that stuff. I was wrong. I'm willing to admit that. It could have been so much better, honestly. I think that Bouncing City is still a little worse, but they're pretty much the same now. Yeah, a horrible judgment by myself. I admit that. I'll take blame for that. But yeah, second place on this list. And Silver Medal, second worst soundtrack in the game. And in first place is a level that I don't own because it was removed. It's my least favorite level in the game. I'm sure you guys know what's coming. And I don't even want to play the soundtrack because, A, copyright, even though I used an F777 song, it's just worse with that grader. Alone 2. Alone 2 is the worst soundtrack in the game. It's almost the reason that it's my least favorite level in the game anyway. But just add on the fact that it has poor level design and RNG aspects being too overused. It's my least favorite level in the game. Not focusing on gameplay though, so let's talk about the soundtrack. First of all, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I prefer Alan Walker, and I will stand up for Alan Walker music. Marshmello's music, I've never been a fan of any of his music. I know some people say but it's a classic melody. It's like an OG EDM thing. I get those YouTube shorts. Like, I don't care. I will never be a fan of that soundtrack, and I think that level will be like my least favorite level in the game until they like absolutely butcher another level somehow. I don't know how, but they have to like destroy a level, have a horrible soundtrack or something, or both probably. Yeah, probably both. So they just have to butcher a level, but yeah, for quite a while until they release a god-awful soundtrack somehow. Alone 2 will pretty much always be my least favorite soundtrack in the game, Gold Medal. Although not for the right reasons. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Once again, thank you for 200 subscribers, and I'll see y'all in the next one.